Hebrews chapter 12 builds on the legacy of faith presented in the previous chapter, urging believers to draw strength from the examples of those who endured before them. The chapter opens with a powerful image of a great cloud of witnesses, those who lived by faith, surrounding the reader like an encouraging crowd. In light of their perseverance, believers are called to lay aside anything that hinders and to run their own race with endurance, keeping their eyes fixed on Jesus, the one who both initiates and perfects faith. Jesus is portrayed as the ultimate example of endurance. He faced the cross with resolve, despising its shame, and now reigns at God's right hand. His suffering is not just a model to admire, but a reminder that hardship is part of the journey of faith. The chapter reframes suffering not as punishment, but as discipline, a loving correction from a father committed to the growth of his children. This discipline, though painful in the moment, yields a harvest of righteousness and maturity. Believers are encouraged to accept it with trust, knowing it shapes them for a greater purpose. As the chapter continues, it urges the community to strengthen what is weak, to live in peace and holiness, and to guard against bitterness and spiritual carelessness. The warning is illustrated by the story of Esau, who gave up his birthright for a momentary desire and later found no way to reverse his decision. This sobering example leads into a striking contrast between Mount Sinai and Mount Zion. The Old Covenant at Sinai was marked by fear and distance. The New Covenant, symbolized by Zion, invites believers into joyful and intimate fellowship with God through Christ, the mediator. The chapter closes with a reminder that God's voice still speaks, and his kingdom cannot be shaken. In response, believers are called to worship with reverence and awe, aware of God's holiness and grace. Hebrews chapter 12 is both a challenge and a comfort, a call to endure with purpose, to accept God's discipline with humility, and to live in light of the unshakable kingdom that has been offered through Christ.